Hi students, welcome to this video session. My name is Samuel Chukwuemeka. In this video session we shall multiply fractions. In addition to what we have done initially in the previous videos on adding and subtracting fractions, we shall learn a new word today, and that is a product. Product. What do we mean by product? Product is the answer you get after multiplication. When you multiply two or more things, it could be numbers, it could be decimals, it could be fractions. When you multiply two or more things, it could even be variables. The resulting answer you get after multiplication is what we call product. Okay. Now, let's go ahead and start. Find the product. That means we should multiply. Multiplication can either be dot product. You can see it as dot product, like this. Okay? Yeah. You can also see it as this asterisk. Yeah. You can also see it as this asterisk. That means multiplication. All right. When we multiply fractions, we have two methods by which we do it. We can either simplify. We have two methods. We can either simplify, then multiply, or we can multiply, then simplify. Yeah, I'm going to show you the two methods in this video, and I will tell you which one I prefer. You can choose whichever one you prefer, but I'll tell you which one I prefer and the ones that we shall use throughout the rest of this video. Okay? Now this is part one, so watch out for part two, whereby we shall deal with the real world applications, which are the word problems. Okay, so let's start with number one. We have 4 over 15 times 3 over 2. If we use the first method, if we use this method, simplify then multiply, that means we have to look at the numerators. The numerators in this fraction are 4 and 3. Look at the denominators. The denominators in this fraction are 15 and 2. So you ask yourself, is there something in the numerator that is a factor of something in the denominator, and vice versa? Vice versa means the other way around. Vice versa. So is there something that is in the numerator that can divide something else in the denominator? Or is there something in the denominator that can divide something in the numerator? Or is there a number, okay, is there a number that can divide something in the numerator and something in the denominator without a remainder? That means, is there a number that is both a factor of something in the numerator and something in the denominator? Okay? So if we look at this now, we will see that 2 is a factor of 2, and also 2 is a factor of 4. We also see that 3 is a factor of 3, and also 3 is a factor of 15. So we are looking at what can divide the numerator as well as the denominator without a remainder. That means what is the factor of both the numerator and the denominator. Okay, it could be any way. It could be first or the second fraction. Yeah, this is the first fraction, this is the second fraction. Okay, so we are just looking at that. What is the factor of anything in the numerator and another thing in the denominator? Okay, it must not be corresponding. It must not be first, second, no. It could be anything at all in the numerator and also anything in the denominator. Okay, so we say 2 divided 2 is 1, And then 2 divided 4 is 2. Okay? Then also 3 divided 3 is 1. 3 divided 15 is 5. So you are left with 2 and 1 as the numerators now, the new numerators, and then 5 and 1 as the new denominators. So 2 is not a factor of 5, or if you ask yourself what can divide anything, nothing anymore. So what you now do is you have finished simplifying it, you can now multiply. So this will be 2 times 1 over 5 times 1. And that will give you 2 out of 5. And this becomes your answer. So one good thing about the first method, simplify then multiply, is that, let me point this, this is the first method. Now one good thing about simplified and multiply method means that you take care of simplifying the fraction right there. I mean, you don't wait till the end before you simplify the fraction. After you finish simplifying it, okay, when you now get the product, it becomes a simplified fraction already. So that's the good thing about it. Okay, the second method is the multiply and simplify. If we use this method here, 4 over 15 times 3 over 2. So what we first do here is we have to multiply first. So we multiply. Now, be careful. Some students make the mistake of doing cross product here. You don't do that. No, you don't. When you multiply fraction using this method, you have to multiply along. Multiplying along. Don't multiply across. You know, this is across. This is across. And then this is along. Okay, you multiply along. Don't multiply across. So just take note of that. Okay, so this is now 4 times 3 all over 15 times 2. And that will be 12 all over 30. So you now see here, you've got the product, but you are not done with the answer. You now ask yourself, is there something that is a factor of 12 and also a factor of 30? Okay, of course, if we begin to list it, 2 is a factor of 12 and also a factor of 30. 3, 2 first, 2 is a factor of 12 and also a factor of 30. 3 is a factor of 12 and also a factor of 30. 6 is a factor of 12 and also a factor of 30. Okay? And then what is the greatest common factor? You know, this is like the method we use when we simplify fraction. It is better, if you use 2, it's going to work, but it will take you more steps. If you use 3, it will work, but it will take you more steps. So, but if you use the greatest common factor, which is 6, you get the answer right away. So what we do is we divide the numerator by 6 and the denominator by 6. We now have 2 over 5. And that's the answer. Now, which one do I prefer? The first one. Simplify, then multiply. Why do I prefer that? Because I want to take care of it right away. This method is very, very important, especially for large numbers. When you have large numbers, then you will appreciate this method because you want to kind of simplify it first so that when you now multiply, you get the simplified product right away. Okay? So this method is what we shall use here. Now, in your notes, in your lecture notes, I used this method, multiply and simplify, in your lecture notes. But in the video, I shall use this method. Whichever one you want to use, that's fine. All right, let's do the rest of the questions. Number 2, so you notice number 1 is a proper fraction times an improper fraction. Number 2 is a mixed number times an integer. So how are we going to do this? You have a mixed number times an integer. We convert the mixed number to an improper fraction. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 is 7 over 4, times. We convert this integer. We can convert this integer to a fraction. And if we do that, it will be 16 out of 1. Yeah, 16 divided by 1. Okay? Whenever you have an integer, if you want to convert it to a fraction, you divide by 1. Put it over 1. So 4 can divide 1. 4 can divide 16 is 4. So I just have 7 times 4 over 1 times 1, which is 28. 28. Okay? Number 3, you now have a mixed number multiplied by a mixed number. 2, 5 over 6 times 2, 2 out of 5. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 5 is 17 over 6, times 5 times 2 is 10, plus 2 is 12 over 5. So 6 can divide 6 gives you 1, 6 can divide 12 gives you 2. So this becomes 17 times 2 over 5, right? 17 times 2 gives you what? 34 over 5. 5 into 34 will give you what? 6 is the closest, 6. 6 times 5 is 30. 34 minus 30 is 4. 4 out of 5. Okay? So, number 3 is mixed number times a mixed number. Alright. Number 4. Number 4 is an improper fraction times a proper fraction times a proper fraction. So what do we got? 42 over 15 times. Now, you can also, like I mentioned earlier, this is still multiplication. Okay? It is still multiplication. Times 21 over 72 times 35 over 64. Okay? So, what we want to do here, we want to simplify and multiply. 3 into 15 is 5. 3 into 21 is 7. Which other one? 6 into 42 is 7. 6 into 72 is 12. Right? Then 5 into 5 is 1. 5 into 35 is 7. Right? Okay? Is there another thing? Nope, nope, nope. So this will be 7 times 7 times 7 all over 12 times 64. Okay? So this is what? 49 times 7 is what? 49 times 7. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 6, 34. 343 all over. Let me make sure. Okay, all over 64 times 12. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 4, 4. 1 times 6, 6. 8, 6, 7. 7, 6, 8. 7, 68. And that becomes your answer. You can't simplify any further. So that's the joy of simplify and multiply. Okay? Alright, then the next one, number 5. Question 5. Evaluate and simplify the expression ABC. ABC. Now, this is just bringing in some algebra into it. You know, we've been doing with arithmetic. Questions 1 through 4 are just arithmetic. Numbers only. Now, let's bring in some algebra, some letters. A, B, C. A is 2 out of 5. B is 6.5. 6.5. And then C is 50. A is 2/5. B is 6.5. and C is 50. So you have proper fraction, multiply mixed number, multiply integer. Okay? Now you know that ABC simply means A times B times C. That is what it means. A times B times C. Okay? So this is 2 out of 5 times the 6.5. Let's convert it to an improper fraction. 2 times 6 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. 13 out of 2 times 50 gives us 50 out of 1. 50 over 1. Okay, so 5 times 2 is 10. 10 divided 50 is 5. I know. Do you understand the trick I did? Well, it's not a trick, but you know, I know 5 times 2, 10. I know that 10 divided 50 is 5. So this is now 2 times 13 times 5. 2 times 5 is 10. 10 times 13 is 130. Or 2 times 13 is 26. 26 times 5 is 130. Yeah. Okay. So I can erase this now. Let's finish up. Question 6. We have solve and check for the variable in the equations for 6 and 7. So we are going to, these are equations. So we're going to solve it and then we check. You know, I've always said this in my videos. Whenever you have an equation, you know whether, I love equations a lot. I love it a lot because it tells you whether you're right or wrong, you know, by checking. I know it's very important that you check. So you solve it, it's very important that you check it to make sure that the left-hand side of the equation is equal to the right-hand side. Okay, so now let's solve it. We have that K all over 4 over 5 is equal to 5 over 12. So, you know, with this, it's just pretty straightforward. You multiply both sides by 4 out of 5. Okay, so you multiply both sides by 4 out of 5. 4 over 5 times K all over 4 over 5 equal to 4 over 5 times 5 over 12. Okay? I mean, you can do it this way. Another thing you can do is to do cross product, yeah. But, you know, there's another way you can do this. You can also do 5K over 4 equal to 5 over 12. Yeah. But one straightforward way you can do is just multiply this by this. So you have that this will cross out this. So you have that K is equal to, here 5, the 5 is gone. 4 divided 4 is 1. 4 divided 12 is 3. So 1 over 3. Okay, 1 over 3. Or if you don't like what I just did, if you don't like what I did, you can now do some division, okay? For this one, left-hand side, from the left-hand side, this is up, you can do this. This means K divided by 4 out of 5, okay? So this means K times 5 out of 4. We shall do dividing fractions. We shall also do the video. So this will now be K times 5. You can say K over 1. Let me break it down. Times 5 over 4, which is K times 5 over 1 times 4, which is 5K over 4. So you can have this 5K over 4. Then you now come over here. You can now come over here. You can now come over here and say that 5K over 4 is equal to 5 over 12. You can do that. You can use cross product, or you can also use LCD. You can use cross product, you can use LCD, you can also use multiplicative inverse. Okay, assuming we use multiplicative inverse, that means this will be 4 out of 5 times 5k over 4 equal to 4 out of 5 times 5 over 12. Because whatever you do to the left hand side, you also do to the right hand side. If you're using multiplicative inverse. Multiplicative inverse. Because you have that 5 out of 4. What is the multiplicative inverse of it? It is 4 out of 5. So you multiply both sides by the multiplicative inverse. You can do that. Okay, you can also multiply both sides by the LCD. LCD of 4 and 12 is 12. Multiply both sides by the LCD. Okay, let me show it here. But let's finish this. This will cross out, and then k will be 1 over 3. Now if you use LCD method, right? If you have 5k over 4 equal to 5 over 12, LCD of 4 and 12 is 12. So you can have 12 times, you multiply both sides by LCD, multiply both sides by LCD, multiply both sides by the LCD. You can have 12 times 5k over 4 equal to 12 times 5 over 12. Right? Now 4 into 4 is 1, 4 into 12 is 3. 12 will cross out, 12 is gone. 3 times 5 is what? 15k is equal to 5. Right? And then you divide both sides by 15. You divide both sides by 15. And then k will be equal to 1 over 3. So either way you choose, you know. You can also use cross product. If you use cross product, if I demonstrate it here, cross product, then we have 5k over 4 equal to 5 over 12. But be careful, cross product is only used when you have an equation and when you only have a single term here and a single term here. That is the only time you use cross product. Now for these two guys, well, the same thing here. For this guy, you can always use it. But for this guy, cross product, you make sure you only have one single term on the left, one single term on the right. Then you can cross multiply. Cross multiply means you multiply the numerator of the first fraction by the denominator of the second fraction, and you equate it with the product of the denominator of the first fraction and the numerator of the second fraction. So this means 5k times 12 equal to 4 times 5. So this is 60k equal to 20. And then you divide both sides by 60. You divide both sides by 60. And then k will be 1 over 3. 1/3. So whichever way is fine. Alright? Okay, now let's check it. Let's check. So we have our k as 1 over 3. Now, the next thing is to check. Now, before you check, the first thing you want to do before you check is you write the main equation. Before you check, just write check. The first thing you want to do is you write the main equation, okay? And then you now write the left-hand side. You write left-hand side and then right-hand side. Now, this equal sign separates the left-hand side from the right-hand side. So what is the left-hand side here? K over 4 over 5. What is the right-hand side? 5 over 12. Now, what did we get as our K? 1 over 3. And one good thing is this, you can use any method you prefer, you understand. Okay? So, K, we got 1 over 3. So you now do 1 over 3 divided by 4 over 5. Okay? So let's get this. Let's do this and see whether we shall get 5 over 12. So assuming we come over here, if we do 1 over 3 divided by 4 over 5. So this will be 1 over 3 times 5 over 4. Right? Now, there is nothing that can, what I would still explain this when we come to division, but when you are dividing fractions, if you want to convert it to multiplication, you have to find the reciprocal of the second fraction. That's the fraction on the right hand side. The fraction on the right, the second fraction, and you multiply it by the first fraction. So you find the reciprocal of this, you flip it. Okay? Now this is 1 times 5 over 3 times 4, because you can't simplify anything, so you just multiply. Okay? So this is 5 over 12. So you see, 1 over 3 divided by 4 over 5 gives us 5 over 12. So you have 5 over 12 on your left and 5 over 12 on your right. You can dance. Okay. Let's do question 7 and then we're done for this part 1. Okay, question 7 you have is the same principle that we shall use. 75 over 48 times 13 over 25 equal to G over 15 over 26. First, let's try and rearrange this, okay? Because we want the variable to be on the left-hand side, okay? So let's rearrange this. Rearrange. We have that G all over 15 over 26 equal to 75 over 48 times 13 over 25. So you can multiply both sides. You can now multiply both sides by what? 15 over 26. So this will be 15 over 26 times G over 15 over 26 equal to 15 over 26 times 75 over 48 times 13 over 25. You can still, in addition to this method, you can still use, you can still do this first and then use the method we've done before. Okay? As you can use LCD. Alright, so this will cancel out. Or you have this like this fraction. And then G will be, now, 13 will divide 13 gives you 1. 13 will divide 26 gives you 2. Right? 25 will divide 25 gives you 1. 25 will divide 75 gives you 3. Right? Is there any other thing? Yeah, 3 can divide 3 gives you 1. 3 can divide 48. 3 into 4 is 1. 3, 18 is 6, gives you 16. So, this will be 15 over 2 times 16. So this will be G will be 15 over 32. G will be 15 over 32. Okay? Now let's check to see whether we are right. Check. In checking, what do we do first? We write the main problem. 75 over 48 times 13 over 25 equal to G over G divided by 15 over 26. Now, why do you have to check from the main equation? Because, this is the reason, because your modified equation might be wrong. Anytime you check, please don't check from your modified equation. Check it from that main equation. Okay, so we have our left-hand side and we have our right-hand side. Our left-hand side will be what? 75 over 48 times 13 over 25. And our right-hand side will be what? G divided by 15 over 26. Okay, let's get this done first. Here. 25 will divide 25 gives you 1. 25 will divide 75 gives you 3. 3 will divide 3 gives you 1. 3 will divide 48 gives you 16. So this is 13 over 16 on our left hand side. On the right hand side will be G divided by 15 over 26. And it's going to be G. What did we get outside G? 15 over 32. Okay? So this is 15 over 32 divided by 15 over 26. So that means 15 over 32 times 26 over 15. Okay? You flip. You find the reciprocal of the second fraction. 15 will divide 15. That's gone. 2 will divide 26 to give us 13. 2 will divide 32 to give us 16. And we now have 13 over 16. 13 over 16 on your right, 13 over 16 on your left. You can drink some water. Thank you so much for listening, students. Please watch out for part 2, and you have a great day.